An optical illusion is all about distorting the audience's visual perception. There are innumerable tricks that have been used in the industry for longer than we can imagine. For example, trapdoors that have been in live theater productions and games in the Colosseum. This was way back, and in 3D illusions have evolved now. Keep watching this video to find out how similar techniques have been used in famous movies and TV shows. First of all, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The filmmakers didn't want to resort to CGI because they preferred to keep things as authentic as possible. The director Michael Gandhi had a similar objective in mind. With just the right amount of camera tricks, he was able to drastically reduce the quantity of CGI. The team built a forced perspective kitchen to give us a small-sized Jim Carrey in the scene where Joel brings Clementine to a childhood recollection. The simple use of perspective can make the person in front look a lot bigger. Now, there are a variety of approaches to get this look in films, but if you don't have the time or money to develop sets or smaller props, you can do one thing. There are plenty of ways to create such effects as manipulating your surroundings. And now let's talk about the Ames room. The Ames room is super fascinating because of its varying designs and visual distortion. The first one was constructed back in 1940s. And how does this exactly work? The onlooker perceives people of almost the same height standing at another end to be drastically different in stature. In addition to the room is a dark to light checkerboard pattern on the floor. This amazing effect is known for its various versions being used on the sets of several movies and TV shows. We saw one of the earliest uses of this in an episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This show was one of the 4 sci-fi series Irwin Allen produced in the 1960s. In the episode The Enemies, foreign powers drugged Americans with a chemical that would turn one's closest friends into bitter enemies, but the scientists also put the people through psychological tests before administering the drug, and the tests were a way to give the subject a sense of being threatened by their friends. The Ames room played a role in the story because a person at one end of the room appeared to tower over one at the other end. One of the test subjects is startled to see his missing friend come through a door, aimed with a pistol and resembling the biblical Goliath in size. Up next, Buona Devil and the birth of 3D viewing. Buona Devil in 1952 was not the first 3D film made, but it was the beginning of the more recent fascination with viewing films in 3D. The experience gives the illusion that the film subjects are coming out of the frame and approaching you. Hollywood and its audiences witnessed the mainstream introduction of 3D viewing. It wasn't a huge step forward for filmmakers, editors, or theater owners, but its effect became popular in the 1950s and 1960s, and has been revived more strongly in the recent years. The 3D technology created a fan base for films like The House of Wax and the sci-fi cult classic It Came from Outer Space. Moving on, Spielberg does it again. Even if all his works weren't a huge success, Steven Spielberg is still a genius in filmmaking. In the original Jurassic Park, he employs reflections everywhere. First, we see the blood-sucking lawyer as a reflection in the water when he stands helplessly. At this moment, he is on a flat being towed ashore. When the T-Rex begins to follow Ian Malcolm and the other passengers in the Jeep, Ian looks down into the water-filled footprint. This produces ripples with each step the dinosaur takes. Ian's reflection is also visible in this process, but the most famous scene featuring a reflection in the film is during the desperate kitchen sequence. Lex, John Hammond's granddaughter, diverts the attention of a velociraptor away from her younger brother. As a result, the raptor advances towards her. The sequence is shot so that the audience is easily taken aback, believing that the raptor is about to run right into Lex. It does, however, collide with her mirrored reflection on the side of a metal cabinet. We think that the shot is phenomenal. Now let's break down 3 iconic shots from silent films. The first scene is from Harold Lloyd's 1923 romantic comedy film Safety Last. Lloyd clutches the hands of the large clock suspended outside of a skyscraper above moving traffic in this iconic scene. But it's then later revealed that Lloyd was not in any danger. The only thing he was suspended above was a mattress. In Charlie Chaplin's 1936 film Modern Times, his little tramp character roller skates across the upper level of a department store. He catches himself before falling off the balcony, but we find out that there was no chance of him falling. The optical illusion was created using matte painting, a technique that gives the appearance of added dimension to an illustrated set of images. Finally, a clip from Colleen Moore's 1926 film Ella Cinders shows the actress performing a series of bizarre eye movements. One eye flutters while the other rolls. Something like this would nearly be impossible for a normal human to do, but filmmakers use a split-screen technique which allowed more to focus on only one eye at a time. Let's talk about Gandalf's special cart. The ideas behind the Ames room were also applied to other props in The Lord of the Rings. Most of the natural optical illusions in these films involve the concept of forced perspective. This refers to an object appearing larger or smaller, closer or farther away. The cart that Gandalf and Frodo rode through the Shire at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring was one of the more well-known special effects created to accomplish this effect. Do you know that the cart was split in half? The side with Frodo is much further back than the side with Gandalf. This trick is to make the seats lined up so they appeared seamless. Next, the Twilight Zone mirror mirror on the wall. Twilight Zone was one big illusion, from the plot to the surroundings. The beginning of the show is sooner than that of Time Tunnel or VTTBOTS. In the Twilight Zone, the constantly confused viewer along with the main characters would figure out what was going on, but this would happen at the end of the episode. Almost always there was a sudden unexpected twist, plus there were occasionally some incredible visual effects to go along with it. Mirrors, for example, were often used and they were nothing fancy, but their reflective properties were responsible for many memorable scenes throughout the series. Besides, a classic mirror shot captures the audience's attention in the pilot episode. Let's just say it had an earth-shattering effect. Now, the time tunnel's spiraling motion. The image, which is sometimes referred to as a hypnotic circular swirl, is simply a white background with black beams curving inward. That being said, the natural aesthetic gives the viewer the impression that the motion is endlessly repeated. The Time Tunnel, a short-lived 1960s TV show produced by Irwin Allen, used the extremely simple technique to add an intriguing aesthetic to the appearance of the machine. This machine transports people and objects through time. Let's not forget the intro scene to Eyewitness, The Skeleton. There was an educational eyewitness TV program in the 1990s. It was both educational and exciting, plus it was a relative success. Several awards were given to the show. The film adaptation of Skeleton was the final episode of the first season. The episode's beginning is difficult to describe, but is undeniably an optical illusion. The camera motion in this opening shot is caused by a smooth action. The placements of shots within the frame is what distinguishes the aesthetics of this particular scene. White cans and containers become teeth, and a woman's dark face with long black hair resembles an empty eye socket. We see the image gradually take on the shape of something it's not. A skull. This is a very interesting illusion, as we highly suggest you watch. Plus, this is an absolute treat for the eyes to those who love studying such optical distortions. Finally, what about modern films and TV shows? A film that incorporates both the real and unreal becomes more artistic, plus it can also deceive the viewer's eye. Several other optical illusions have been and will be used in the industry. We can expect optical illusions to become more common as our innovation and creativity push us forward. In modern films like Doctor Strange and A Wrinkle in Time, illusions appear to be computer-generated. Natural optical illusions appear to be used less frequently. According to us, they shouldn't be forgotten because there are some things that natural illusions can do that CGI has yet to achieve. That's a wrap for this video. What are your thoughts on using optical illusions in movies and TV shows? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.